Okay, by now you've probably figured out a few shortcuts about slope-intercept form. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to graph and shade a system of inequalities. Now, a system means that there's two or more equations. So this is from your homework, page 3 of your worksheet packet. We're just going to do, let's do 6, and then we'll do number 7 as well. Okay. Alright, so what we're going to do is we need to graph the first one and we'll shade it, and then we'll graph the second one and we'll shade it. So you're just graphing the same thing as we did yesterday and the day before, but you just have to figure out where it's double shaded. Okay, so let's try it. So the first one starts at 2. Make sure I got my dot on here. Starts at 2, and it goes down 1 over 1. So here we go, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Got my slope there, so I'm going to draw a line now. Oh, solid or dotted? Looks like it'd be a dotted line because it's not underlined. So here's my dotted line with arrows and everything. And we're going to have to shade, so we got to plug in a test point. My test point is 0, 0, because that's always the easiest. So there's my test point. And we're going to plug in 0 is bigger than 2. 0 is bigger than 2. That is not false, or that is not true, so that's false, so we don't want to shade the x, we want to shade away from it. Now, the shortcut you probably learned is when it's in slope-intercept form like this one is, since it's greater than, the y is bigger, so figure out on the y-axis, where is it bigger? Well, this is the y-axis, where are they greater? That would be up, so we can just shade up. So that's when it's in slope-intercept form. That's a little shortcut we can do to figure out where to shade. Okay, so shade it up. Now, the second equation, I'm going to have to graph this one, but I need to stick in the plus 0. So it starts at 0. Uh-oh. That means if it starts at 0, that means I can't use that 0, 0 as a test point. But I'll just pick something else. Okay, so down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Okay, so there's my line. It'd be dotted as well. So I'm going to get my straight edge out here and draw a dotted line through 0, 0. And holy cow, did you guys notice that the lines are parallel? Are they supposed to be parallel? And if you look back at your equations, of course they are. Because the slope's -1 and that slope's -1. So they'll never touch. So what we got to do is we got to figure out which way is less than. Okay, so since it's in slope-intercept form, I can just say y is less than x. So less than on the y-axis would be down. So I'm going to get my shader out here, and we're going to shade down. So can you tell me where these double shade? And you're like, well, they don't, because this line is shaded this way, and this line is shaded this way. So they don't ever overlap, and they never will because they're parallel. So is there any double shading? The answer is no. So the answer to this problem is no solutions. Okay? So you basically can just say, you can graph both of them, but you don't know until you're done graphing that the answer is no solutions. Okay? So that's number 6. Number 7, looks like we've got a standard form and a slope-intercept form, so let's go ahead and graph those. Starting with the standard form. Now I can't do the shortcut on shading with standard form. It doesn't work all the time. So we'll have to do it the long way. So my x-intercept is -2. My y-intercept is -4. It'd be a solid line, so I'm going to get out my line, make it solid, and graph it. There we go, just like that. And we have to plug in a test point because it's standard form. There's no shortcut for that. So 0, 0. 0 is less than -4. Is 0 less than -4? And the answer is no. It's greater than -4. So this is not true. We want to shade away from the x. So that would be over here. Okay, so there's my shading. And then I pick up my straight edge again, and I'm going to graph this one. Starts at 0, and we're going to go up 1 over 1. So my straight edge out. It's a dotted line, so we're going to change this to dotted, and graph it like that. Bang. And now we're going to do, we don't need a test point because it's slope-intercept form, so I'm just going to go ahead and shade y is less than. Which way is less than? That'd be below, or less, down. Down. from that. So I'm going to pick up my different color shader and I'm going to shade down. Okay, so you guys should be able to see now with my two different shadings what part of the graph got double shaded. And you should see it very clearly. It's this part right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it in just a little bit darker to make sure that whoever's correcting this paper can see that this is my double shaded region. And that's it. You're just graphing two inequalities on the same plane, and you're just going to figure out where they're double shaded.